Yes, I bought a PlayStation Vita, and let me tell you why you need one in 2025. The PlayStation Vita was released February 15th, 2012. This handheld has been on the market for over 13 years now, and it feels like just yesterday I was saving up the money to buy the 3G model at launch. This handheld paved the way for future handhelds like the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck. The Vita had a walk, so the Nintendo Switch and Steam Deck could run. Today, we are here to talk about the PlayStation Vita and why you need one in 2025, and why this handheld holds up against the best handhelds of today. The PlayStation Vita is a very unique and interesting handheld. Today, we will cover the system, its games, and its many features. Yes, I modded this Vita, which is one of the biggest reasons why you need a PlayStation Vita. I want to show you everything about my favorite handheld of all time. So let's get into it without further ado. Reason number one for owning a PlayStation Vita are the console quality games, such as Uncharted, Golden Abyss, Gravity Rush, Call of Duty, Killzone Mercenary, and Unit 13. Made the Vita shine at the beginning of its life, even though that would not be how things would go for the Vita. Reason number two, PlayStation Vita was indie central before the Nintendo Switch was. There were so many smaller games for the PlayStation Vita till the Switch came along, with games like Super Stardust Ultra, Dead Nation. The third reason I think you should own a PlayStation Vita is mod this thing. When I say this is the best handheld, well, the main reason is how you can crack this thing open and put so many games on it, including games that have been delisted on PlayStation Network. Such games as Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Z, Attack on Titan. Reason number four is you can make the storage massive. After modulating it, you can put a lot of storage in it. I got 512 gigabytes in this with the PlayStation Vita 2 SD card adapter. Please do not buy those expensive memory cards that Sony overcharged us for. Reason number five, remote play. This one is a bit of a stretch. Remember remote play? This was where it first started. You can play the PlayStation 3 through the Vita, but there are hardly any games that you can play on the Vita. There's only two games to be specific that I know work for sure. That is the God of War collection and the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection. The PlayStation 1 games do work. I didn't try a lot of them. I did try one. I'm guessing a lot of them work. Also, I did not have a PlayStation 4 to test that out. It works on the PlayStation 4 as well. I would say it hardly works on PS3. Reason number six, this is the best PlayStation Portable and the best way to play PSP games. You have all the controls by adding analog controls and using the second analog stick. Also, these games look great on the Vita, and Adrenaline makes you feel like you have a PSP with you. It's fantastic, guys. Reason number seven, there are two versions of the Vita to buy. The OLED 1000, which looks great but has a lot of problems with it. The 2000, which solves most of the problems but swaps out the OLED screen for an LCD. The 2000 is the much better Vita. Most people say the 1000 rules, but that one is so heavy and a smaller battery means you're playing it for less time. The 2000 feels better in your hands and overall has a longer lasting battery which will let you play it for longer. Reason number eight, you can play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation Minis. They look fantastic. You can also emulate other consoles, but I have not messed around too much with that, such as Nintendo 64, NES, Super Nintendo, and I think I even saw Nintendo DS. So now that you know that you should buy a PlayStation Vita, hopefully you buy one from Japan. Those come in much better colors and you could change the button layout if you have to. I want to go over my favorite PlayStation Vita games with you and some game recommendations. So if you happen to pick up a Vita yourself, you should try these games out. Uncharted Golden Abyss, the only Uncharted game that is stuck on PlayStation Vita and you can't play anywhere else. Developed by Ben Studio, this is one of my favorites for the PlayStation Vita and really showcased what the Vita could do graphically. It is a shame that this game is stuck here, but it is a blast to play. This action-adventure title is a must-play for anyone who owns a Vita. Killzone Mercenary. Killzone Mercenary, developed by Guerrilla Cambridge, is objectively the best first-person shooter on the Vita and demonstrated that you can play a first-person shooter on a handheld without sacrificing graphical fidelity. Gravity Rush, developed by Japan Studio. Gravity Rush is a unique cel-shaded action-adventure with distinctive and sometimes frustrating controls. This game was definitely one of the staples for the PlayStation Vita when it launched. It was the game that made the Vita stand out. This isn't the best version of the game. Bluepoint Games has since made a remaster of this for the PlayStation 4, playable on PlayStation 5, so you can also play it there. But if you have a Vita, definitely try it out. It's a really unique and fantastic experience on the Vita. Unit 13, developed by Zipper Interactive, which you may know from having developed the SOCOM games. This is the best third-person shooter on the Vita, a very tactical and fun shooter. This was Zipper's last game before being defunct. RIP Zipper Interactive. HD Collections on the Vita. The HD Collections era. When they first started remastering all these games, certain games also had a Vita port, such as Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, God of War Collection, Jak and Daxter Collection, the Sly Collection, the Ninja Gaiden Collection. However, they ran better on the PlayStation 3, but it's definitely awesome that you can play some of these classics on the Vita. Resistance Burning Skies and Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, a 2-for-1 special. While they aren't great, I enjoy playing these two games. They were both developed by the same developer, Nihilistic. These games were 6 months apart in release. They were made relatively quickly, which is why they weren't so hot technically, and were panned. And I loved these games when they were released. I was so excited back then for a Call of Duty on the go and a Resistance game, 2 first-person shooter games. I miss those times, and this would be the last Resistance released in that series. Indie titles, like the Vita or not, everyone has to admit how many great little smaller bite-sized indie games this machine had. Some of my favorites are those games that came over from PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, but also the whole cross-buy era was the best. If you bought a game on PlayStation 3 and there was a Vita version, you'd get it for free most of the time. And the same is true with the PlayStation 4. This was where Vita did its best and helped it survive until it was ultimately discontinued in 2019. Such games as Hotline Miami 1 and 2, Dead Nation, Stardust Ultra, Coconut Dodge Revitalized, Crazy Market, Crimson Land, Chasm, Breach and Clear, just to name a few. PlayStation Vita was indie central before the Nintendo Switch. The final piece of the puzzle, the PSP, PS1, and PlayStation mini games, were a blast. It was awesome to see classics from all those 3 categories brought to the Vita. Although not the whole library was made available for the Vita, if you mod this beast, most of the games are available, with some of my favorites being Dino Crisis 1 and 2, all the classic Resident Evil games, Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, with some PSP staples being the GTA games, the 2 God of War titles, the Jak and Ratchet games, the Burnout games. There's just an endless supply of great games for this handheld. While there is so much more to be said about the PlayStation Vita, I can't emphasize this enough. Buy yourself a Vita, and you will thank me later, I promise. This handheld has a very special place in my heart. It was released during my favorite generation in gaming, the PlayStation 3 generation. And even though it only sold over 10 million units and is considered a failure to Sony, I think the real winners are the fans here who got to enjoy this fantastic little handheld. Let me know if you guys have a PlayStation Vita. What are you enjoying on it? Are you buying a Vita for the first time? What games are you picking up on it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. Till next time guys, remember, Vita means life.
What you've come to know as NGP, our next generation portable, is officially named PlayStation Vita. Thank you. So, what does Vita mean? Vita means life, and we're confident that PlayStation Vita will be the first product that truly blurs those lines between entertainment and your real life, empowering you to play, interact, and connect like never before.